Yeah, Michael and Lori, and today's celebration was really a culmination of a years-long effort to finally get their voices heard, and for many, to finally get an opportunity to vote.
The chants echoed through the neighborhood. They chanted "Si se puede," yes we can, in Spanish, in celebration of the thousands of Latinos in York County, many of whom primarily speak Spanish, finally being able to vote clearly in their native language. The change to the ballot was a result of a lawsuit filed in 2021 by the advocacy group CASA. They said that the county violated federal law by failing to provide ballots, materials, and assistance to voters who are fluent in Spanish. Fulvia Vargas de Leon, an attorney with Latino Justice, represented CASA in the lawsuit and said the county had made it nearly impossible for Spanish-speaking people to vote.
Showing up to the poll site knowing that they have a constitutional right to vote and yet being met with these language barriers just made them feel disenfranchised from being able to participate in our democracy.
According to the U.S. Census, York County has nearly 40,000 Latino voters, with nearly a third of them being from Puerto Rico. Prior to the suit, of the 161 precincts in York County, just 18 of them had some sort of Spanish language voting materials. Now, all of them will. Rosemary Cintron, who works as CASA's voting engagement manager, has organized a door-knocking campaign to help get the word out that the polls are now more inclusive. She says that people simply didn't know there was an election coming up.
So much of our voting material is in English. They didn't even understand that there was an election happening tomorrow. So these last 10 days have been really impactful in making sure we get the most representation at the polls.
Now, the settlement puts these new measures in place for the next 5 years, and CASA, as well as a number of people here in York County, are hoping it becomes a permanent fixture when people go out to vote. This man who posed as a doctor in order to violate a patient is actually facing similar charges for a similar act in Cumberland County last year.
40-year-old Eric Tarter of Harrisburg has been charged in Dauphin County with involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, indecent assault, unlawful restraint, and falsely pretending to use a license. Investigators say the charges are stemming from a pair of assaults that happened at the Penn State Health Colonial Park facility in Lower Paxton. The first was on April 10th, and the second occurred in August.
This is a violation of trust. When one goes to a hospital or a doctor's office, you're placing your trust in the medical providers. And this violation of trust that we've alleged here is extremely disturbing.
According to the charging documents, an 18-year-old male patient came for a doctor's appointment when he was greeted by Tarter, who referred to himself as Dr. Tarter. And during the exam, police say Tarter forced himself on the teen, claiming it was part of an STD test. When the teen returned for a follow-up in August, investigators say he encountered Tarter again, who performed a second unnecessary test, assaulting the victim. These incidents occurred a year after Tarter was accused of committing similar acts at a UPMC clinic in Upper Allen Township.
In this particular case, the Cumberland County case was pending. This occurred. Detective Smeck actually made the arrest following the preliminary hearing in the Cumberland County case.
And Penn State Health has issued a statement on Eric Tarter, which says, quote, Penn State Health terminated Eric Alfonso Tarter Jr. from his employment as a medical assistant in late August prior to the allegations of criminal misconduct. Penn State Health is cooperating with police. And as for Tarter, his preliminary hearing is actually scheduled here in Dauphin County next week, December 14th. Meanwhile, his arraignment in Cumberland County is set for January 22nd. And it has been a very busy evening here at the Salvation Army in York. As you see over my shoulder here, this group of volunteers is from Penn Air, and they are packing up boxes of food that are going to be going out to needy families. And it's all a part of a bigger season of giving.
I have seen a lot of toys that I've never seen before, so I think they're going to make a lot of happy children.
A big focus at the Salvation Army in York is food and toys. While keeping kids warm is very important, this particular chapter actually starts distributing their coats in November. So your donations are going toward next year.
We give our coats out very early in November. And then with the help of the people in the communities, again, when we get back to November, we'll be able to buy the coats that are needed for the people who.
The Salvation Army of York is focusing their efforts on drawing donations to their food pantry, as well as getting kids' toys through their Angel Tree program, which helps families make sure that their little ones have a Merry Christmas.
Just this week, we've had a lot more people come into our office to get Angel Tree tags. There's none left at the stores, so they're actually coming into our site.
The cheers going up from this group of volunteers from Penn Air as they have put out more than a dozen pallets of food boxes that are going to be heading out to needy families starting next week. And as for coats, they've already donated nearly 300 of them from this Salvation Army in the last month. And if you want to donate to the Coats for Kids Telethon, all you got to do is go to the link on our website, WGAL.com. In York, at the Salvation Army, I'm Jay Scott Smith for WGAL News 8.
It was a cold and rainy start to 2024 outside the American Legion post in Mount Joy, but that feeling is nothing new for Tyler Stump and the riders, who have been coming together every January 1st since 2009 for the annual Frosty Balls and Frozen Susie's motorcycle ride.
We started 15 years ago. Me and a buddy decided to go on a New Year's Day ride, and a couple other people heard about it, so we decided to raise some money for the veterans.
What started as a ride of about a dozen guys has morphed into a big event every New Year's Day.
I believe we had 11 people that first year and raised $400. And now in our 15th year, last year we had over 500 registered motorcycles. And in the 14 years, we've been able to give over $270,000 to the Lebanon VA hospital.
One of the traditions every year is one biker wearing the crown of Baby New Year. It's an honor, of sorts, for men like Marine vet Barry Kapling.
Yes, sir. 2013. I think it was like 32 degrees when I rode in here in a diaper.
As we make sure that you are number one.
Manny Acuna, a Marine vet who survived an IED attack during the Iraq War, started the organization Blankets of Honor to show love and support for his fellow vets.
Come on up, Don.
There was an old bumper sticker, POWMIA, and it said, "You are not forgotten." Well, we want to emphasize you are truly not forgotten.
Manny says events like this live up to that credo of "you are not forgotten," and offered this message to struggling vets.
I know sometimes times are hard, money's tight, but there are organizations out there that will help you.
In Mount Joy, I'm Jay Scott Smith for WGAL News 8.
Sarah Taylor can rattle off the names with ease.
So we have Snickerdoodle, Oreo and Cream, M&M, birthday cake, lava cake, which is my personal favorite.
Those are just some of the more than 30 cookie varieties from her company, Taylor Chip. I'm sorry, Sarah. Please continue.
Chocolate chip, a brookie, s'mores. We have peanut butter, so loaded peanut butter fudge, peanut butter explosion, which is a fan favorite right now.
You get the picture. Taylor Chip is the brainchild of 29-year-old Sarah and her husband, Doug. It opened in Lancaster in 2018 after they got married. The business has led to Sarah being honored as one of Forbes magazine's 30 under 30 for 2024, which caught her by surprise.
So I was just checking my email in the morning while I was feeding my daughter breakfast, and I saw this email, and I actually thought it was spam because I'm like, there's just no way.
It all began as a date night activity that was tied to Doug's love of chocolate chip cookies and Sarah's desire to make them with more natural ingredients.
It was just, let's just have fun. Let's just do something for date night, and Dougie loves chocolate chip cookies, so that's honestly how it started. Baking's not in my background.
The Taylors are still very hands-on, whether it's Sarah helping to make and pack the cookies, as well as run their popular social media accounts. Their Instagram and TikToks have nearly 400,000 combined followers, or cookie friends as they call them. Meanwhile, Doug can be seen monitoring the books one minute, then changing the soap in the bathrooms the next. He's also Sarah's biggest supporter, but even he initially questioned the idea of a cookie business.
I actually thought a cookie company was a dumb idea. I was like, it's just cookies. What can you really do with it? I didn't have vision for it, but what I did have vision for was just spending time with Sarah.
It was that collective vision that turned Taylor Chip into a big business, with an expected $4 million in revenue expected this year. As Taylor Chip started getting off the ground, along came the pandemic, which damaged and shut down numerous small and startup companies. Taylor Chip was able to adapt by listening to their cookie friends.
So they wanted to do curbside pickup. We implemented that right away. Initially, it was with text messages and then Square.
The company has steadily grown, nearly 250,000 customers, and has managed to do so without incurring the debt that often stunts the growth of so many businesses, paying off the initial money they owed in the company's first 3 months. What started as a single location in Lancaster has now become a multi-million-dollar enterprise with 4 locations in the Susquehanna Valley that ship to all 50 states. And they plan to expand to Philadelphia next year, and they have the lofty goal of taking the company global.
We're doing about 300 to 400 shipments a day right now, which is absolutely wild, going from like about 150 shipments a day to right now 300 to 400. So it's crazy. We have extra help here the next couple weeks.
When it comes to his wife and business partner being recognized as one of the country's top entrepreneurs, it hits Doug at his core.
Yeah, I was so proud of her. I mean,
You're getting a little emotional.
yeah, I am. I don't know, but yeah, she really deserves it. So yeah, I was very proud of her.
In Intercourse, I'm J. Scott Smith, WGAL News 8.